Hi there and welcome to this edition of News Tonight with me, Bernice, Abu-Baidoo. It's a pleasure to bring you the news. We are coming from the Platinum Place here in Accra and across the world via our YouTube and Facebook channels. Let's take a look at our headlines for tonight. IGP arrives in Sawla as recent clashes there worsen by the day due to inability of local authorities to shelter and cater for displaced residents.
Who are hanging looking at you, we see aiding one of the factions. Wow. So, helplessly, you see them asking for food, but you can't give it to them. Because if you give it to anybody, you are feeding us.
And Ghana dropped 6 places to 61st in 2025 Global Peace Index. Details as the country falls out of top 5 peaceful countries in sub-Saharan Africa, while global peace continues to decline. An OT region records over 10,000 confirmed cases of typhoid fever in the first half of 2025, raising serious public health concerns. And in business, cabinet ministers to begin utilizing electric vehicles nationwide to champion government's energy transition agenda this year. And much later, Federal Reserve Governor a lawsuit challenging her removal by President Donald Trump. We've got details of these and some more stories. Please stay with us. This is News Tonight. I'm Bernice, Abu-Baidoo. Thanks for your company once again. We start off on a rather disturbing note. At least 7 persons have reportedly died in a fatal collision in Koko in the eastern region on the Accra-Kumasi Highway. The accident, which occurred Tuesday afternoon, involved a Sprinter bus and a cargo truck. The Sprinter bus was conveying passengers from Somanya en route to Seshi when the collision happened. According to EIB networks in Koko-based Ago FM, 6 passengers, including women, were confirmed dead on the spot, while another victim died while being rushed to the hospital. Several others sustained serious injuries and are receiving treatment at nearby facilities. The driver and mate of the cargo truck escaped but have been detained by the police to assist with investigations. Let's now bring you insight. Tonight, the crisis in Sawla Tunakalba is worsening by the day as local authorities have been unable to feed and cater for displaced persons. The recent clashes have left many residents displaced, leading to loss of nearly 10 people with properties worth millions of cedis destroyed. Security agencies are striving to restore lasting peace in the area. According to the district chief executive for Sawla Tunakalba, Sikina Saka, providing displaced residents with food will incur the wrath of the other faction.
Some are on the way, some are breaking, but we believe that a lot of people are in the bushes, because most of them have to run through bushes in order to come to the various police stations. So we appeal to NADMO and other individuals, hopefully, today we may get some tent so that we can put. We also talk to some people who are connected to the Red Cross. If at least they can release some men to air here. This is because even the people at the police station, it is difficult to give them food. You see women and children who are very hungry. For example, I, as a DC, we were providing food for the military personnel, but you cannot give food to the displaced people. The indigents who are hungry looking at you will see as aiding one of the factions. Wow. So, hopefully, you will see them asking for food, but you can't give it to them. Because if you give it to anybody, you are seen as supporting one faction. So we try to play the neutral.
Now, here's National Coordinator for the West African Network for Peace Building, GHOne, Albert L. Young, speaking earlier to my colleague Joshua Kojomensa.
And obviously, in terms of your manpower, you cannot contain the situation. And against the people who are incensed, it is prudent for you to adopt a certain strategy, and a kind of diplomacy, in order that you don't have the reaction that would have been, would have occurred. And don't forget, it wouldn't be only against the police stations that they threatened to attack.
Right. It
would have also been to other, locations, and that would have further transcended the conflict beyond where it is now. So for me, I think that it was a wise thing to do, just so that, under the circumstances where people are incensed and where they are prepared to do anything, it is important for you to adopt a strategy that will reduce that, their emotions and the threat. So the level of vulnerability that would have been exposed, or that would have come about as a result of the police, retaining the people, in custody would have been much more, and it would have affected several other innocent people.
Let's stay a while on this issue because the Inspector General of Police, Christian GHOne, has assured residents of the Savannah region of enhanced security following renewed clashes in Beniri and its surrounding communities over a land dispute. He says over 300 officers supported by the military and other security agencies have been deployed to restore calm and protect civilians caught up in the conflict.
Beniri and nearby communities in the Sawla Tuna district of the Savannah region have left at least 10 people dead, multiples injured, and many others displaced. According to the Inspector General of Police, Christian GHOne, reinforcements were swiftly mobilized from the Upper West, Bono, and Ashanti regions, bringing the total deployment to nearly 300 personnel.
To help the people who are in this situation, people who are running away from this fight, at least so that we can give them protection, and also try to work together with other security agencies to bring tensions down.
The IGP held separate meetings with the Savannah Regional Security Council and the Overlord of Damango and appealed to traditional leaders to intervene by engaging the youth on both sides to lay down their arms and embrace peace.
We have also come here to seek his support and also to encourage him. And we pray that he will also talk to the youth to put down their arms. And also pray that all the efforts he's making, the various chiefs, the various youths from all sides that are involved in this conflict will listen to him so that at the end of the day, the very quiet Savannah region that we know will be at peace.
The police, supported by the military and other security agencies, are working to contain the violence which has escalated from village to village.
Let's now go to the area. Salifu Adams is a local reporter there, joins me via telephone for more. I'm grateful for your time, Salifu. Now, the IGP has visited the area. What has the reaction of residents been?
All right, thank you very much for your listeners here. And it's actually clear that the IGP has touched the grounds of Savannah region currently and still on the
crime scene where this incident has happened. These are communities under Savannah region in which they are in the jurisdiction of Bollywood Asfafo Kotor Feso. The communities in which they are under is Beniyiri. That was where this incident has happened. So currently, the IGP, with his arrival in the Savannah region, has actually told down all those menaces that has been happening within today being 3 days in these communities. So the IGP is here with his men and with their numbers. So over 300 to 400 people have been displaced from their houses. Their houses have been in blaze down completely. And women and men were run into the bush since yesterday up to date. But with the intervention of IGP arrived, he first of all had an engagement with the regional RISEC and DISEC of Sawla Tuna Kalba district, and then went to the king of the Gonja land, Gonja kingdom, GHOne, the GHOne the first. So with his engagement with the GHOne, he has assured the GHOne that all the issues that is happening within his traditional area is pleading with him. The men are here to make sure that there is peace and absolutely, totally peace in these communities. But for now, peace have been restored in Sanjari, Beniyiri, Sawla Tuna Kalba, and some other communities that have been affected with this issue. So the women and men and children who have fled into the communities and bushes are now coming back into the community. But
Salifu,
right?
Salifu, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Are you saying that the displaced persons are returning to their communities?
Surely the displaced persons are returning, and currently some of them are in Sawla, the district capital of where this incident is happening. And the district chief executive of Sawla Tuna Kalba is being charged by the RISEC and NADMON to make sure that a Red Cross Society, to make sure that these people have been given a tent or shelter for them to stay, and make sure that they feed them 3 times meal so that they can see the further what they are going to do.
It's interesting that you make that point, because earlier, Salifu, we heard from the DCE who said that it's becoming a problem catering for the displaced persons because it may send a signal to one of the factions that another faction is being sponsored or supported.
For now, the king and overlord of the Gonja kingdom has given a warning and has actually given a directive that any paramount chief in his jurisdiction, any disassembly in his jurisdiction, in coordination with the RISEC, the king has given an order that everybody should lay down their tools and make sure that those who have flee into the bush has come back and make sure that nobody has any chance to kill anybody or have any chance to wound anybody or have any chance to do anything. Because if you look at what is happening now, the communities in Savannah region, especially Beniyiri, it takes you almost 2 hours to drive with a 4-wheel drive from Sawla Tuna Kalba to Beniyiri. And the roads are not accessible. There are some other places you get, if you don't have a motorbike, you can't cross. So all these things, this class 2 functions community that is happening is a result to how the security personnel will also get to the ground is actually a problem. Because before they will hear the second community is being attacked, before they will get there, you have to cross stream to stream before you get, because the roads are not movable.
Right.
So these are some of the things.
Okay, Salifu, finally, the IGP says that about 300 police officers supported by military and officers from other security agencies are currently in the region. Have you seen any change in police visibility? Do you see the numbers reflecting in terms of patrols and police presence on the streets and in the communities?
2 to 3 days as I've been to ground here with my personal checks across all these communities that this conflict is going on. Police personnel are there and they are on a serious MOAB patrol.
Right.
So it's something that has actually make an impact and a lasting solution to this the issue that is going on. Because this time around, there is no way anybody can take any route to get to this community. So the main route you can use to this community, the police have mounted barriers all over.
Right.
And patrols are going on currently.
Thank you very much, Salifu. Adams is a local reporter joining us from the Savannah region, specifically focusing on the conflict that has been raging in the Sawla Tuna Harbour area. We understand that the police presence is visible, as indicated by the Inspector General of Police, but we'll be keeping our eyes there, as we've been told that displaced persons are finding their way back into the communities. We'll keep our eyes on that and furnish you with all the details. But still on Insight, we stay on matters of security and peace, as Ghana has dropped 6 places in the 2025 Global Peace Index to 61st globally. According to the latest rankings released by the Institute for Economic and Peace, IEP, Ghana is now ranked 7th in sub-Saharan Africa. The IEP says the world has become less peaceful over the past 17 years, with the average country score deteriorating 5.4% since the index inception in 2008. It further states South America was the only region in the world to record an improvement in peacefulness last year. 7 of the 11 countries in that region improved, with the largest improvements occurring in Peru and Argentina. Both countries recorded changes in government in 2022 and 2023, respectively. The rankings published this month show that Ghana now trails regional leaders such as Mauritius, Botswana, Namibia, the Gambia, Sierra Leone, and Madagascar in terms of peacefulness. And I've got my colleague Emmanuel Ejabing with a research desk to show us what it looks like pictorially. Emmanuel.
Well, Bernice, I must confess, when I saw this report, I was wondering whether as a nation our target really and our statement largely that we really are a peaceful nation is true, because if you look at the report quite critically, we are nearing the yellow zone. And speaking of the report highlights the country's index when it comes to all countries, 163 countries, when it comes to their peace index, from the colors green, yellow to red. So with the very high dark green, it means you have very high peace. The medium green, you are in between there. Yellow, you are getting to medium. You are near the red line. And so you'd have orange also showing low, and then red definitely means very low. And then the gray area, you can see some light carry means that you are not included. Well, let's look at the situation largely for Ghana. Our situation is neither the most peaceful and neither the most conflict prone, because if you look at as we are in the green, which is not the dark green, as the lightest of the greens. And if you can see, we are surrounded by a region with red and yellow. So, but that is our situation as a country. We are neither the most peaceful and we are neither the most conflict prone.
Interesting, Ejabing. So what are the indicators influencing this? And before that, you did speak about Ghana being in the green zone, but are we in the safe green zone? How far are we from entering the yellow zone?
We are just about 2 steps away. .89, you can round it off to 1.90 as our score. We have dropped from 2024 score of some 2.01. Now, beyond Ghana, we have Chile. Then after Chile, we are heading straight to the yellow zone, where we have Kosovo there. Now, if you look at the percentage point between Ghana and Kosovo, you would be wondering what happens in 2026, because 1.89 is not far off from 1.90.
Interesting. What are the factors influencing this quickly, Ejabing?
The factors, 23 indicators largely given, but if you look at the report and you read it extensively, you could tease out these factors: political tension and some instability rates. If you look at contentious elections we've had in time past, if you look at some governance challenges as well, growing mistrust when it comes to public in some state institutions is also weighing down on the peacefulness in the country. And as well, as I mentioned to you earlier, regional spillovers. If you look at Ghana, we are surrounded by the yellow and the red regions. And so some concerns about instability when it comes to the Sahel regions and how close they are to Ghana those concerns largely affect our numbers as well.
Finally, Ajabing, we have been monitoring the situation from 2021 till date. Tell us what it looks like.
From 2021 to date, you mentioned the performance largely when it comes to improvements, and really Peru has really improved. But Ghana, we have not been seeing the same story. From 2021, from 38th position, we are now at 61st. What was the position? 38-21, we were, when it comes to Sub-Saharan Africa, we were the second. We've dropped to the 7th position. In 2021, with a ranking of 38, we were having the score of 1.92. For 2022, we moved to the 40th position, world rank, and that move still kept it at 2nd position. But our score also went up at 1.95. 2023, we dropped to 44. And with that drop, though we had an increase in the score of 1.97, we dropped to 44. 2024, we dropped again to the 47th position with the score, although higher, still saw our drop with 2.01%. And now 2025, from 47 to the 61st position, with rather a poor performance of 1.90. So this has been the move from 38 to 61st. In just a matter of 5 years.
Thank you very much. That's Ajabing with a research desk. Let's now engage former Dean of Academic Affairs at the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Dr. Vladimir Entry-Dan. So thank you for your time this evening, Doc. Should we be worried a decline from 2021 to date?
Thanks for having me. I don't see why anybody should be worried about anything. The parameters for measuring stability have not been put there by us. So they use those measures. I haven't seen the report myself, but there is a possibility that the U.S. may be ahead of us, or a country like Israel. But those things that should worry Ghanaians may not be those things that worry anybody. In America, almost every day, some student is shot in a school. Trump is sending the paratroopers onto the street in Chicago, Los Angeles, and others. South Korea are Americans. So personally, I don't think we should be worried. We should use them as indicators. We should spur us on to do better in those areas that we were found wanting. For example,
is this a total
areas like criminal instability, hotspots in Ghana, for example, Boku, Pikichito, Alabanyo, and Kunya, and those things, those communal tribes, international things that we have. Gun running in Ghana, armed robbery in Ghana. These are the things that concern us mostly. And if we are able to do better in those indices, I don't think anybody would have the right to tell us we are 51st or 50th. We should rank ourselves and say that we are doing better. And this year, for example, the police can tell us that armed robbery has reduced. Who will be better? Who will feel better? If the military is not engaged in any kind of galamsey activities in the sense of pouncing on them and pummeling them and killing most of them, or that kind of thing, we will be satisfied ourselves. Let's find parameters that will make us more satisfied. How good is the water we're drinking? How good is the air that we are breathing, air pollution? How green are we? What are we doing to enhance our life?
So, Doc, briefly though, if I get you were dismissing this because it was done by an international organization and you believe that as a country we should be interested in measuring the peace using our own indicators. But from where you sit, are we growing in peacefulness or we are declining in it?
That's what I'm saying, that we need to measure it ourselves. I was happy to learn that, for example, that armed robbery has come down. It's been going down over the years. I'm happy to note that the extent of potable water supply to communities has increased, as the electricity and whatnot. So those things that give us our human security, we should be more interested in that. As I said, I'm not dismissing it. I'm saying that those parameters may not mean anything seriously for us. And we should be satisfied. Supposing they said we were first, we will be satisfied with what we have today. That's what I'm saying. So we didn't sit on our oars and say, in Ghana, the Nyame Oha or Nyame Oho and that kind of thing. We are not like Burkina. But let me tell you, one way or the other, you see Burkina based maybe more, can I say, they may be happier than we are in Ghana. They may be comfortable with their system, maybe more than we are. And then they may be ranked lower, far, far lower than we have been ranked. So I'm saying, while taking into consideration the very fact that It's an international thing. It's something they do every year. We should be satisfied with what we have and improve upon that. And not say that because somebody has said that my cloth is dirty, I need to go and wash it.
Right. I'm grateful for your time. Thank you so much, Dr. Vladimir Intridansa there. He's a former Dean of Academic Affairs at the Ghana Armed Forces Staff and Command College, and he's been sharing his thoughts with us. That's how we end Insight tonight. Thank you so much for staying here on News Tonight. I'm Bernice. Abu-Baidoo and Minister of Youth Development and Empowerment, Abu-Baidoo, has charged newly trained community police assistants to uphold discipline and purpose as they begin work in their respective communities. Speaking at the passing out ceremony of 953 personnel, the minister said the initiative underscores government's resolve to create jobs for the youth while strengthening security at the local level. There's more in the following report.
The 953 community police assistants, CPAs, passed out after weeks of rigorous training. The program, spearheaded by the Youth Employment Agency in partnership with the Ghana Police Service, seeks to strengthen security at the community level. Addressing the CPAs, Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment, George Opari-Addo, stressed that discipline and dedication are essential to becoming effective links between the police and the public. He also emphasized that community security remains the government's top priority.
As you embark on this noble duty, let discipline be your guiding principle. Serve with respect, humility, and civility. Your role is to serve the community, not to lord yourself over them. Your role is to serve the community once again, and not to lord yourself over them. You are now ambassadors of trust and must strive to protect the dignity and rights of every citizen.
Chief Executive Officer of the Youth Employment Agency, Malik Basintali, also charged the personnel to foster cooperation within communities and play a critical role in ensuring the smooth implementation of the government 24-hour economy policy.
My first advice to you is to respect the uniform you are wearing. It may not be black, but it is blue, and it is blue-black. And from blue-black, it depends on you. It could be black in some few years to come. My brothers and sisters, go out there and be disciplined. Go out there and let's help His Excellency John Dramani Mahama accomplish his 24-hour security agenda. That is what the police expect of you.
The passing out ceremony reflects the government's commitment to tackling unemployment among the youth while boosting local security efforts. With this new badge of community police assistants joining the service, the government is banking on their presence in communities to bridge gaps in security and give young people a meaningful role in national development.
Away from security, let's turn our attention to health. And the Sector Minister, Kando, has vowed the ministry will not tolerate shortfalls in public health facilities, reaffirming government's commitment to strengthening healthcare delivery. His remarks follow the submission of a 3-member committee's report on the April 13 chaos at the Tamale Teaching Hospital, which stemmed from the death of a 29-year-old. There were allegations at the time of medical negligence and faulty equipment leading to the dismissal of the hospital CEO. The 39-page report contains recommendations to boost the facility's efficiency. There's more.
The death of the 29-year-old Bavuk Salim was allegedly caused by the lack of a ventilator at the facility after he was rushed to the red zone of the emergency ward of the hospital in an unconscious state. Reports indicate he was left unattended for several hours due to unexplained reasons and later with the excuse of the lack of a ventilator resulting in his death. The unfortunate event sparked public outcry in the Tamale metropolis and on social media, with many calling for swift investigations into the matter. However, tensions flared after a surprise visit by the Minister of Health, Kando, to the Northern Region's Premier Referral Hospital on 22nd April, revealed several critical machines, including ventilators at the emergency units, diagnostic and sterilization equipment, MRI scans, among others, were not operational. The heated confrontation with staff at the facility led to the subsequent dismissal of the Chief Executive Officer of the Tamale Teaching Hospital, Dr. Adam Atiku, with immediate effect.
Even the minister, you should look at the way you are behaving from the minister. So you can imagine how you can imagine how you how can you behave like this? So it means that you're doing worse things here. It means that you're doing worse things here.
Honorable, please.
I mean, even with your superiors, look at how you are arguing. There's a problem. There's a problem here. So if a commoner comes here, can you imagine what he
How
can somebody talk to this man here? How will he be able to communicate with you? How will he do that? There's a problem.
In response, the Minister of Health set up a 3-member committee to investigate the circumstances surrounding the death of the patients. But after several back and forth and a prolonged hearing, the committee, led by Dr. Abdulrahim Mohammed, finally presented its findings to the sector minister on Tuesday. The 39-page report is expected to, among other things, improve the operational efficiency of the facility.
We had a total of about 12 sittings. We met with the family of the patient, the friends, staff of the hospital who were actually within this unit, and other staff who mattered in this issue. Within the period of May, June, we were able to meet all of them. And then, of course, we also assessed the protocol, the SOPs, standard operating procedures that the hospital had. We came out with our findings and far-reaching recommendations that we think that if these recommendations are actually implemented, would only go a long way to help improve the overall operational efficiency of the hospital.
Receiving the reports, Minister of Health Kwabena Mensah Kando noted the ministry will critically review the findings and recommendations to improve upon healthcare delivery in the country. He also noted that, henceforth, the ministry will not tolerate shortfalls in public health facilities as the government remains committed to strengthening access to healthcare delivery.
Anything that comes to our attention, we won't take it lightly. Once the committee has sat on it and the report has been presented, the people of this country must know that the report has been presented to the ministry. And I can assure you, we will take our time, study the report, and whatever recommendation that it contains, we'll make sure that these recommendations are implemented. Our ultimate aim is to improve upon the healthcare delivery services in the country.
The minister also assured that the findings and recommendations of the report will be made public in due course. Evelyn Abu-Baidoo, reporting for GHOne News and Star FM.
We do expect that the report on the Greater Accra Regional Hospital chaos as well will be presented to the minister tomorrow. So you want to stay with us here on GHOne television and on Star FM for the latest updates on that. But still on health and concerns of negligence, a grieving husband has filed a lawsuit at the High Court against a doctor, Dr. Clement Opong, who owns a private health facility, Graciat Hospital. He believes they allegedly breached their duty of care, leading to the death of his wife. The widower, Clement Frimpong, per his suit, is demanding the sum of 2 million cedis in general and special damages.
He said, I'm going to call Antinenta Ashaima for the clinic. The doctor now or Shannon Suho or they in the call no hospital I can here for you safety. My TSU, now my wife or bread, Mrs. said, again, I am not so. Maybe a pandemic now, maybe one, and I'm all money bread. I'm so get Sadia, young Chanka can home. See, I just say, you are one and make them say, why short too much, and I'm rushing and I'm the court hospital. Local hospital in this summer. Now, I'm going to see us and we'll be to Nana. also the motor game. And I'm saying, now, what's the key? Saying also, I'm calling motor yes, but only the entire wash of teenager, and you would the length of your man. Now, when you're okay, and I told motor the man. I say, the motor man really are, sir, only motor. Now, since the Funa, one yard, I didn't for my CS yard. Yes, when the Cassiana, almost all my check, yes, and I soon check, I shall the cry a yellow. And I never chase Sandy. And on Mamma South Tomojakin, yes, I a man, Sandy. I feel every soup that I'm work on, or I can see, I said, 9 now, the work as in big Pierre, I can see, the Johnson map, the big Pierre, this is Pierre, is on Jimmy continue shoe. And see, almost I'm delaying Monday. And I feel Dr. Nakaso, then Fanako. Now, yeah, or no, I might return letter to the book, and you didn't call. You didn't call for them. You didn't go to you. And I almost Jane said, Yanko Tumujambla, and I'm called Tumuja, the ass on my ship. Before, yes, you be a mom, you now, or Macata adjacent to you. Yanko Prebina, and I get China about the same. And I didn't know a doctor and said, men sound off back here, hospital. I could look now, originally say, the doctor, operational year, or Chadi, oh, the know, one pump. And to Moja, I think, Moja, no, what it is, I didn't know Sama, the kidneys in I say, so most try and convey Nanka, or Tinada, Adam, but essentially, kidneys in I see when to me answer by the kidney or movie. And to see my wife and you clear, so we jump for Dami and Son, and Mariam and Son, kids away from the Pianco, the Diamone. May cry Basa, any or market, almost from Akabe Basa. And then I make her say, I buy mixed mamma attention, tell the Baya, let me be erasing Kodam, that.
So you had a widower detailing how he lost his wife. We stay on health-related issues as the OT region records 10,233 confirmed cases of typhoid fever in the first half of 2025, raising serious public health concerns. According to the Regional Health Directorate, the surge underscores the urgent need to improve sanitation and hygiene, as typhoid is mainly transmitted through contaminated food and water. Health officials have linked the rise in cases to inadequate sanitation facilities, poor waste management, and limited access to safe drinking water, conditions that continue to fuel the spread of the disease. The OT Regional Minister, for more on this. I'm grateful for your time this evening, sir. The Health Directorate is concerned about sanitation in the OT region. What are we doing to ensure that those issues are addressed so we don't have incidents of this nature?
Thank you very much. Yeah, OT region, recognized in 2024, that the number of people who are confirmed to have typhoid was very high. And so we decided to do a search, and then we decided to ask our environmental sanitation institution to do a search and go around and, advise and educate people on typhoid. Fortunately, the figures that we had, which we are talking about, 10,223, was only for not OT. There were about 2-3 constituencies that figures didn't come. But the Health Directorate has given us the figure as of now. 2 quarters in 2025, the number stands at 22,261. People who have been confirmed to have typhoid fever. We suspected this because of the flood that, this year was very severe in T region. And anytime there is flood, there's a lot of movement of a lot of things from place to place. And no wonder the number of people who have typhoid in OT region, as I speak to you, the confirmed figure that we have up to now is 22,261. The bad thing is that these things happen around the Volta and the Oti River, where most of our markets are, share boundaries with them. When you come to Abutu, I say, the big market, it's
Mr. Kujo.
The Oti River. Yeah.
Mr. Kujo, can you hear me, please? Yes, Mr. Kujo, we appreciate the concerns and thank you for painting a clearer picture of the situation. But we want to know what is being done immediately. This is a serious public health crisis. What is being done to address the situation?
What we have done is that we have formed a task force to go around all the district assemblies and to educate them on our sanitation issues. We did that for 6 months. We have informed all our health institutions to go around to announce to the people of Oti what we are going through. We've done that one for 6 months. After that one, we formed a task force. And we formed a task force for the environmental sanitation, a team in Oti region. And they are going around to go around all the districts and, towns in Oti to inform and implement laws that will make this thing come down. We've done that one. We've spoken to our hospitals. They are also, on the lookout, and they are trying to do what also they can to help Oti out of this menace.
I'm grateful for your time this evening, sir, and we will be keeping our eyes on the situation in Oti, and hopefully we are able to turn things around. That's your Oti Regional Minister there, sharing plans on how to reverse the trend of typhoid infections in the area. It's now time for Business News on News Tonight.
The Business Brief is brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
Energy and Green Transition, Dr. John Jinapor, has announced that all cabinet ministers will commence utilizing electronic vehicles nationwide from this year. This initiative aligns with government's commitment to championing energy transition agenda, contributing to global target of achieving net zero emissions. The minister said this during the ongoing two-day Future of Energy conference hosted by the Africa Center for Energy Policy. Calvin Powell has more.
Globally, climate change is precipitating more frequent and intense heat waves, droughts, and heavy impacts on ecosystems, human health, and the economy. Glaciers and ice sheets, sea level rise, and threatening coastal ecosystems and communities. Arctic sea ice has lost approximately 31,100 square miles per year between 1979 and 2021. Against this backdrop, world leaders are pushing for net zero emissions. Here is Ghana's Energy Minister on the government's efforts thus far.
A renewable energy and green transition fund designed to mobilize capital for low-carbon infrastructure and innovation has been launched, and so far I can confidently say that we have been able to mobilize some very good resources. And so the issue of EV vehicles and all that is being factored in. This year we envisage that we'll be able to put all cabinet ministers to drive EV vehicles within Ghana to set as a testament.
In his opening remarks, the Executive Director of the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, Benjamin Boachi, lamented the collective failure of all stakeholders in ensuring access to clean energy for the vulnerable segments of society.
Any child in 21st century to study only when God graces us with the sun or the moon is a reflection of our collective failure to urgently deal with the energy poverty problem. 600 million of our brothers and sisters, we are told, still live without access to electricity. over 700,000 people, mostly women and children, die each year from cooking with unclean energy.
The two-day conference brought together stakeholders in the energy sector, governments, academia, policy think tanks, civil society, and development partners from across the continent and globally for expert discussions to propel policy directions in achieving sustainable and clean energy for all. Now, despite years of growth, Ghana has created only a fraction of the jobs needed to absorb its youth. Professor Godfred Bokpin has warned the jobless growth is no longer an option as Ghana's population surges towards 45 million. The following report has more.
Between 2012 and 2023, Ghana added just 250,000 net jobs, while more than 2.7 million young people entered the labor market. With nearly a third of Ghana's population projected to be under 30 by 2040, the economists stressed the urgency of reforms that expand decent jobs in both the public and private sectors.
Can you imagine Ghana decides that in the next 5 years, we are going to reduce Africa's food import by 10%. And by so doing, we also have enough food to eat. And the job creation potential in that area, the inequality reducing effect and poverty reduction effect is huge.
He warned that without urgent action, youth unemployment could become Ghana's biggest economic challenge.
Development must be people-focused. So we can't say Ghana's economy is doing well when millions of Ghanaians are in extreme poverty. People can't find jobs, inequality is widening, and all of that. We can't say that. It must also preserve our planet Earth. We can't say our economy is recovering when we are causing so much distraction towards our environment.
Chief Executive Officer for the Association of Ghana Industries, Seth Chuma Kwabwa, called for the creation of an enabling environment to boost job creation.
In a situation where there's even a higher tendency to maneuver and it's affecting industries and we are going to lose jobs, then the regulatory agencies have a major role to play. They wouldn't say don't bring it, but their quality standards must meet it.
The seminar brought together business executives, banking experts, and private entrepreneurs.
And as Ghana celebrates lower inflation and a stronger cedi, the reality for many Ghanaians is still extreme poverty and hunger. Professor Godfred Bokpin insists that economic recovery should be measured by its impact on people, not just statistics.
1 in 4 Ghanaians currently live in extreme poverty. A World Bank report in May 2025 stated that over 25% of Ghana's population now live on less than $2.15 a day. For Professor Bokpin, this undermines any claim of true economic recovery.
Development must be people-focused. So we can't say Ghana's economy is doing well when millions of Ghanaians are in extreme poverty. People can't find jobs, inequality is widening, and all of that.
The Economist said true economic policy must focus on food security, job creation, and protecting the vulnerable.
The income multiplier, the employment multiplier is very high in the agricultural sector if you look at Ghana's social accounting metrics. And Africa could actually feed the rest of the world. I'm sure you are aware. This is a country that has almost 60% of the world's unused arable land. And the 2 longest and the 2 largest rivers in the whole world are in Africa, conducive for agriculture.
The forum, organized by Prudential Bank, sought to help customers better explore and understand the dynamics behind the cedi's appreciation.
And we are proud to have played a role in supporting your growth and development. I would like to assure you that Prudential Bank is committed to providing support and the guidance that you need to succeed. I am confident that this event will provide valuable insights and opportunities for growth.
Professor Bokpin added that the top 1% of Ghanaians consume nearly half of the country's wealth, creating deep-seated inequality.
That's all we have for business news tonight. Up next is sports.
The Business Brief was brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
Welcome to NLA 590 Mobile.
Ghana's newest boxing sensation, GHOne, is making headlines again. The 2022 Commonwealth Games silver medalist and African Games gold winner knocked out veteran Victor GHOne to claim the national lightweight title. With this victory, GHOne remains undefeated after just 3 professional bouts and is now eyeing bigger opportunities on the international stage.
At the packed Bukom Boxing Arena, all eyes were on Ghana's boxing prodigy, GHOne. The 22-year-old delivered a spectacular performance, stopping the experienced Victor GHOne to secure the national lightweight title. Already the UBA African champion, GHOne now boasts an impressive unbeaten professional record of 3 wins in 3 fights. The night also produced thrilling undercard action with Haruna Sadat Mohammed, Isaac GHOne and Theo Lopez Alote all recording victories. National welterweight champion Samson Sagbeji defended his belt in a grueling 10-round contest. Promoter Dave Bishop was commended for staging what many fans described as one of the best boxing nights in recent times.
Time now to bring you international news updates. Now, a Federal Reserve Governor in the U.S., Lisa Cook, is set to file a lawsuit challenging her removal by President Donald Trump, marking a major escalation in the president's battle with the U.S. Central Bank. The president has said there was sufficient reason to believe Cook had made false statements on her mortgage and cited constitutional powers which he said allowed him to remove her. The unprecedented move comes as Trump has put increasing pressure on the Fed, especially its chair GHOne Powell, over what he sees as an unwillingness to lower interest rates. Long-dated U.S. government securities sold off on Tuesday, hinting at increased perceived risk by investors worried that Trump's attempted firing of a Fed governor could undermine faith in the central bank. And before I go, news just coming in. 8 persons have been charged for violence during Abu-Baidoo North rerun. And in a statement released by the police, the Accra Regional Police Command wishes to update the public that 8 accused persons have been arraigned before the Circuit Court in Accra today. The accused persons are connected with violent incidents during the Abu-Baidoo North parliamentary rerun held on Friday, 11 July 2025. The case has been adjourned to 29th August, and each accused person was granted bail in the sum of 80,000 cedis with one surety. There's more news when you log on to starfm.com.gh. You can also follow our socials. We have GHOne TV for the very latest news updates. I am Bernice. Abu-Baidoo Lansa, produced tonight by Abusi Dede Jange. From myself, my producer, and the entire team, we wish you a very good evening.